Ain't like I'm still 5 years old, you know? Ain't like I'm gonna be sitting up every night asking my mom, when's daddy coming home, you know? Who needs him?
It's all right to be angry.
How come he don't want me, man?
All us kids with no dads are gonna take over the world.
Hence why the name is Milk Run, you know. Our fathers went to get milk, never came back.
We can restore the balance.
Hashtag no dad gang.
We always end up coming back with milk. Unlike your dad, we'll be here next week. The Milk Run Podcast. Welcome back to the Milk Run Podcast. Things are a little bit different today. We're not in the Gold Coast. We're actually in the Sunshine Coast. With they're two different places, and we are with a different person right now. Efrat could not be here, and he sends his sincerest apologies. He told me to tell everyone that his green card actually got denied, so he got sent to Japan. So I brought the next best thing, which is the only other Asian I know, Matthew.
Yes, apparently I'm now Asian.
Well, you have to take Efrat's place. So.
That's true.
So welcome to the Milk Run Podcast. You were here a couple of weeks ago, and so we're currently in the Sunshine Coast, doing some jobs, doing some video work together. We just got done with one of the sessions. It's like 10 p.m. at night, but content needs to be made. So we're making it happen. How you feeling?
Feeling good. Feeling good. Feeling pretty good.
How's things been since you recorded the last episode?
Fine. Been busy.
Been busy. Been a bit crazy. I know. I've had a lot of feedback from people about your episode. So far, it's the highest rated episode. No, it's not negative. They love it. They love your story. You had some feedback. People who never would have thought that was your story, but it's your story. So today, I thought we've got the two of us together. Unfortunately, Efrat couldn't be here, but I thought, producer Sass thought it would be a good idea as well to see how you and I view things and view the world, because we come from the same family.
Yeah.
We grew up together as best mates our whole life, under the same roof, shared a room, had bunk beds.
Yep.
And I vomited on your head from the bunk bed.
Yep.
That's
disgusting.
Story.
It's true.
It splashed in your face.
Yes, it did. It rebounded into my face.
Pretty good shot. I'm
Yes.
surprised I didn't become a basketballer. I have the accuracy of some of the best ballers out there. We were raised under the same roof, but we do see things differently.
Very differently.
We were talking today, we were out at Brekkie and you were like, I just don't know how you can be so carefree and careless. And I'm like, well, I don't know how you can be, so...
Stressed.
So focused. And so like, we were raised under the same roof. Yes, we slept in the same bedroom for majority.
So you're going to say same bed, but no.
Sometimes. But we see the world differently.
Yes.
We understand things differently, the way that we perceive events, things that have happened to us, things that we've seen. We see everything differently.
Usually you're wrong and I'm right.
If there was a statistic that was over 100%, like I'm always over 100% right. There's not a level of a statistic that can go as high as how right I am all the time.
I recall you being wrong just not long ago.
About?
Actually.
About what?
About the toilet wall at Mum's house.
Oh yeah. I was a little bit wrong, just slightly.
Just slightly.
But like that's
so that 100's decreasing a little bit now.
It's gone from 100. It's gone from 150 to 149.
Yeah.
I'm
Fair.
glad you admit it. But I want to see how differently we think. So, producer Sass has prepared some questions. We've heard one or two of them just as like a bit of a. She wanted to make sure that she wasn't going too deep or too funny with it. So, I think they're good. I think they're good questions from what she gave us.
Yep.
I'm a little bit nervous, but
I'm prepared.
I'm keen to see how different we experience life, how we learnt different things,
or if we even learnt different things, or if we learnt anything,
or if we learnt the same thing.
Because I have a feeling I didn't learn some of these questions.
Well, we'll see. So, without any further ado, Milk Run Podcast episode, whatever number we're up to. This is the MINCHIO Brothers Challenge. The questionnaire to see how different we see life. Are you ready?
I am ready.
I am also ready. Producer Sass, hit us with the first question.
Okay. First learn how to shave?
How did we learn how to shave? We're talking our faces, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh.
Yep.
Just want to be clear. Because our
It's a
viewers
good call because I
probably
do shave everything.
Okie dokie. Well, you can go first then, seeing as though you're a professional.
Well, okay, so what was the question again?
How did you learn how to shave?
Your face.
How did I learn how to shave? Well, I didn't learn how to shave. I still don't know how to shave.
But you shaped
I
up.
trim. I bought myself a trimmer because
An
every
electric
time I
trimmer?
did shave, I'd just get red dots everywhere. So I bought an electric trimmer and now I just trim my face. And if I want it lower than this, I trim it right down.
But what about your neck?
That's trimmed.
You don't ever use a razor.
I don't ever use a razor. Bad experiences.
That has just blown my mind.
Yep. So I'm not sure if you're supposed to shave down, up, sideways. Don't know. Was
So
never
you've
taught.
never used a razor.
I have used it, but
And
I've
it
only
just-
had bad experiences. So I stopped
Did
using
you
it.
ever cut yourself on the neck or anything?
Oh, yes.
I haven't shaved up my beard right now. Don't look too closely, please. Don't look too closely. But for me, I also wasn't taught how to shave. And I only learnt from a guy named Ishi,
Yeah.
right? You know Ishi?
Yes.
He was the one who actually told me for the longest time I was shaving down with a razor and I would get like bumps and stuff all over my neck. And then he told me as like, I was like 26 years old or 25 years old, bro, you should probably shave up. You should probably shave up. And so then I started shaving up and it changed my life.
There you go. You think they'd put it on the packet?
But I think it's pretty simple to figure out, like, or it's pretty simple to learn, to be taught, but we just didn't have someone to teach us, apparently.
That's true. Well, it's not
So-
like Mum's going to teach us how to shave her face. She might have a little mustache, but
Hey, well, you know what, man? Sometimes they do. Anyways, moving on. Next question.
Okay. Next question. Who taught you how to change a tire?
Ooh, straight
I
out
don't
the
even think
gate.
you know how to change a tire.
Excuse you. If we were to go out there right now and see who was faster at changing tires, I would win.
No,
By far. I'm a professional.
no.
I actually learned how to change a tire in a class at school called Life Skills with Mr. Wood.
There you go.
Life Skills with Mr. Wood. He taught us all how to change a tire at school. Believe it or not.
I do believe it because he taught a lot of things at school.
There was some interesting images shown in his biology class. Some interesting stories told, which are very. It's just not appropriate
Yeah, I agree.
for this space. But how did you learn how to change a tire?
I do find it interesting that I was never taught that at school, but I was taught from my brother, Angelo, our elder brother.
He taught you.
Yep.
How to change a tire.
I remember it was his first ute that he bought, and I think he got a flat tire
Was that
within
the
the first
Hilux?
week. Yep, the Hilux. And I remember he said, "Matt, come outside. You're learning how to do this tonight." And I was like, "All right." And I'm grateful he taught me.
So he took you outside and he taught you how.
Yep. And that's how I learnt.
Interesting.
And now I've changed probably around 100.
100 tires.
Yeah.
There's no way you've changed that many tires.
Well, I see a lot of people on the street just broken down, and I'm the type of guy, I just pull over and I have to help, you know?
That is the biggest load of crap I've ever heard in my life. Yeah, no, I do that. Not you. Next question.
All right.
Next question. How did you learn how to flirt with girls?
Oh,
I'm about to out myself.
you a Riz master?
I am not I am the Riz Master.
Okay.
I'm a professor of Rizology. I have a PhD in Rizics.
All right, and now you're going to tell us how you got that qualification.
Trial and error.
Look, I am about to out.
Well, we do have a lady that is going to be able to tell whether or not it's true as well. Producer
Producer
Sass.
Sass. Obviously, my Riz was good enough that I am married now for almost 4 years.
That's true.
And she's still smiling. Look at her. She's all smiling. Oh, smile. Smile. Thank you. No. I am nervous to tell this because I'm letting out trade secrets. The world won't be safe if all the boys figure out what I'm about to teach. Also, this is probably the most embarrassing thing that I've ever done in my whole entire life. When I was a teenager, I would YouTube videos on how to talk to girls and how to flirt with girls and how to get girls to like you.
Yes.
I used to watch these videos and it would just be these flipping douchebags, who would walk up to girls on the street with these like pickup lines or different techniques that they've learned.
Did watch those videos.
But all the secrets were behind a paywall. So you couldn't learn how to fully riz a girl.
I see.
Unless you paid, $100 to get the course.
Yep.
And obviously I was a teenager. Didn't have a
money.
job, didn't have the money, and I wasn't about to go and ask mum to pay for a Rizology course. So basically, I just watched hundreds of these people right up until the point where you have to pay.
Yep.
Maybe not hundreds, maybe in the tens. And I learnt from each of them different techniques on how to
Talk to girls.
riz the ladies.
Okay.
None of them worked because I was single all the way up until grade 12.
Yeah.
So they didn't work. If you're out there and you're trying to riz a lady, do not count on YouTube videos or these douchebags on Instagram to teach you how to riz a girl. What about you?
I agree with what you're saying. I did watch some YouTube videos back in the
No.
day,
I
but
wasn't the only one.
they were never successful. I do remember using the WikiHow as well. That's usually
WikiHow?
yeah. The WikiHow always has like the little photos of like the mannequin girl and boy in a fake conversation, and then I'll put the text and it'll go through step 1, step 2, step 3, and yeah, it never worked.
Oh, that's sad. When was your first girlfriend?
I think my first real one, I had one that lasted 2 days in high school. I think in year 7. But
Year 7. Who was it?
year 7. I won't name names just
Who was
because we're going to breakfast with her brother tomorrow. But it lasted 2 days because I was too frigid.
Frigid. I haven't heard that word in forever.
Yeah.
2 days.
Yep.
I had plenty of 2-day relationships. I had one on MSN. I'm not going to name names either.
Yes, MSN.
But back when MSN was a thing, I never talked to this girl at school ever. We started dating on MSN,
Yep.
and then it was during the Christmas school holidays. So in Australia, we have like 8 weeks holiday during Christmas time.
Yeah.
It was in that time we started dating and broke up before school came back, and we just
So you never talked to her?
never only on MSN,
Literally,
and like you'd have their name in your flipping MSN bio thing.
Yep.
Flipping embarrassing, man.
Yeah.
But we were useless at it. But I somewhere along the way learnt something that worked, obviously.
This is true.
And
And I obviously didn't.
you obviously are still in the process of learning.
Yes.
Next question.
Okay, who was the first person you told after you had your first kiss?
Did you pull this out of some teenage magazine?
No, I mostly just wanted to know.
The first person I even kissed. Who was the first person I kissed?
That's what I'm trying to think.
The first person that I kissed, I think I was in like grade 7 or grade 8, and she was kind of like my little grade 8 girlfriend, and I also was very frigid. Like I didn't want to do anything.
I just didn't know what it was.
I didn't want to do anything physical, like even kiss.
Yeah.
Anyways, I remember my best friend Ryan Page, who
so it must have been grade 8 because that's when he started coming to Calvary, my school. We went out on a double date. He had a girlfriend at the time. We went to the movies, and the entire time during the movies, this girl was trying to like kiss me, and I was like, I'm not having this, you know. Like she was holding my hand and stuff, and I was already like, Mum would freaking kill me if she knew that I was holding the girl's hand. Yeah. So I was already freaking out. So she kept trying to kiss me. I'm like, I really don't want to kiss. Anyways, we went to Hungry Jack's after the movies, and we're eating our food, and I remember. She went to go play on the playground.
I see.
Marks.
Yep.
And my best mate Ryan and his missus were like, "You should go hang out on the playground." to me. And I'm eating this burger. I'm like, "No, I'm eating. Like, I don't want to go out."
I'm enjoying myself.
Anyways, I ended up going out because of peer pressure, and then basically. She attacked my face. I didn't enjoy the experience, and the first person I told was Ryan. And,
there you go.
And then we broke up not long after that.
I see. Yeah, that's a sad story.
Yeah. What about you?
I think my first kiss
went a little like this.
I actually think, I don't know what year, it must have been year 11 at school.
Yeah.
I think, or year 12. It was one of the two, because I remember it was like the first party that I went to where alcohol was involved. And obviously growing up in our household, it wasn't acceptable. But I remember we went to this party. I went with my other mate, good mate, called Matt. And
good lad.
We were having a few drinks, and there was some girls from the class there, and we had a hot tub and everything. And it was a wild night. And I remember we were playing Truth or Dare. And I'm pretty sure my first kiss came from the Truth or Dare. And it hit me, and they were like, "Oh, I dare you to kiss this girl." And I was like, "Oh."
Who was it?
I'm not going to name names.
Well, come on. Who was it? Don't tell. You don't have to say the full name. Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
When I edit this episode, I'm going to turn that all the way.
Hey, there's no last name, so it's all good.
I'm kidding. That's interesting.
But yeah, so that was the first kiss, and it was just like the quickest peck of my life.
Yeah.
It was like, and then I was straight into the hot tub. I didn't really care about the kiss. I just wanted to hop in the hot tub.
Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed with you.
This is true.
You love baths and hot tubs.
But I think, yeah, that was my first kiss. It was a Truth or Dare.
So who was the first person you told? I guess everyone was already there.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I didn't really tell anyone. They'd witnessed it firsthand. And they're probably like, this kid has no idea what he's doing. And they were right.
Next question. All right. Okay, next question. Who taught you how to drive?
Oh, I think I've said this in a previous episode. I had two people who taught me how to drive. And they were Marty and Sam. So Sam would let me change gears when he drove.
Yeah.
In his
Nissan
Pulsar.
Yep.
Which
Nissan Pulsar.
Which then became his
Josh's,
brother Josh's.
Yep.
And Josh was one of
the
my
OG
best friends. But then Marty, when I got my L's, he actually took me driving in a manual and taught me how to drive manual.
Yeah.
And then Mum obviously tried. She was difficult to drive with. She would stress the flip out.
Trust me, I know.
But I do want to say that with not many hours done and my logbook completed with some help of magic, I passed my L's to P's driving exam with flying colours. And I reverse parallel parked for the first time ever.
On the exam?
On the exam, and nailed it.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
It's one of my claims to fame.
Well, I wish I had a similar experience, but my driving came from Mum. And as you just said...
That's why you're such a bad driver.
Well, she was very stressful, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And I remember a few times where we went driving at night down near Warina, which is a local place in Townsville. And every time I would turn the car, for some reason, I would flick the lights off. I have no idea how I was doing it, but I would put my indicator on and the lights would flick off. And then Mum, she's just like, what the hell are you doing? And she'd start raising her voice and then it'd stress me out even more. So then it kept happening. But yeah, she taught me how to drive. Obviously, it was in an auto car.
Yeah.
So I didn't learn manual.
Can you drive a manual?
I have driven a manual and I kind of know how to, but I didn't get my manual license. I just went straight for the auto because I was not willing to risk it. I just wanted to drive from the get-go. So I just got my autos and I can't be bothered upgrading to the manual.
Well, automatic cars, are like everyone's got an automatic car now. Only men drive manuals.
Well, I wouldn't want to drive a manual. It's just too much work. The automatic is just simple and easy.
Producer Sash just got my attention. I offended her with that statement because when we started dating and when we got married, I drove the automatic and she drove the manual. And I just said that men drive manuals, but it's not true.
You're a bigot.
I'm a bigot. Turns out I'm a bigot. Next question.
Okay. Who was your famous male role model growing up?
Famous male role model. Famous male role model. I think growing up, I looked up to superheroes. So like, my biggest role model as a kid was Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man.
He was an OG Spider-Man.
I knew him as Peter Parker. I didn't know him as Tobey Maguire. I had no clue about his real name. I thought it was Peter Parker.
Let me guess. You saw the scene of him strutting it down the street and just thought, I want to be like him.
So he's doing these ones and he's going...
And all the girls are just getting rizzed up.
But now looking back, that's the most cringe scene in movie history.
It is.
I looked up to superheroes, so it was him. I think that was like the only superhero movie that was really going at the time we were kids, hey?
I think it was. That's the only superhero movie that I kind of remember.
And so I looked up to him and I really loved him. Mum bought me Spider-Man gloves. And I used to pretend around the yard like I was Spider-Man. And then I used to think, when I had these Spider-Man gloves, when I squeezed my hands really tight, because obviously the fabric starts cutting off the circulation to your fingers, my fingers would start throbbing.
You're like, I'm getting my powers.
And I thought to myself, I'm powerful. I've got Spider-Man powers pulsing through my veins. No, I was just an idiot. But
yeah, it turns out it wasn't true.
I just looked up to him. I didn't have the powers. What about you?
Famous guy that I looked up to. I don't even have a clue. I don't think I've looked up to any famous guys.
Who'd you look up to? Who was a male?
I think it would have just been youth leaders growing up.
Yeah.
I think.
Like who? Who would be the one that you looked up to the most?
I would say it would have to be probably Tim Peters.
Yeah.
Back in the day. We had some wild times in our connect groups and youth groups. And then when Mum was sick, he would just always look after me and make sure everything was okay. So yeah, just always looked up to him.
Yeah, totally. He's a good guy. He was someone who I looked up to for a long time as well. Absolute legend. He, were you there that one time that he left me at the beach with no clothes?
I don't think so.
So we used to go skimboarding on the weekend.
Yep. I do remember that.
And one time I was getting changed in the toilet after skimboarding, and some of the boys ran in while I was getting changed and stole all my clothes. So all I had was my jocks that I had on, and they drove off.
What beach was that?
Palaranda. And so I was running down the road in my jocks.
Classic.
And then another time with Tim.
On the road trip?
No, that was one time he drove over my iPad.
I do remember
And they
that.
left me in the middle of flipping gin in Queensland and they drove off.
Yeah,
So
that's pretty wild.
I was walking down the highway as a teenager. Wild times. And then the time I'm talking about, we had to drop off movies to Civic Video.
How
So
good
you
was
remember,
Civic?
dude, Blockbuster, Civic Video.
They were the days.
Some of the
They were the
greatest
days.
And the boys dared me. Tim was one of them. You know, he was an adult. And I just want to make that clear. They dared me. They were like, "Oh, you should wrap your shirt around your head like a balaclava, and go in and drop off the video and see if you could scare them."
Oh no.
So I was like, "Yeah, this sounds brilliant." So me and one of my friends did it, balaclava up, right, and we go drop it off. We just ran up, drop the movies back, Tim's movies back. They drove off.
Oh.
So we come running out of the shop with our balaclavas on, and we're like, where do we go? Where do we go? So we're running across the road with no shirt on, balaclava on our head. Some great memories.
Well, I'm sure that would have flew back in the day. If that happened today, I'm sure it would have been a different story. Because the crime level's out of control.
Yeah, up north.
Yes.
Yeah, literally.
But luckily it happened back in the day.
Far out. Did you used to wrestle him all the time? Like
Well,
all the boys?
You know what is funny? I do remember our grade 10 camp, right? So this was a huge 2-week camp that our school hosted. I think we were like the only class that got to do it. And we went from Townsville up to some random place on the way to Cairns. And we stayed on a farm for like 6 days. Mm-hmm. And Mr. Wood was actually one of the teachers there. And that's the first time we caught like a rabbit, killed it and ate it, which was so cool. I thought it was awesome. A lot of the girls in the class were crying, but all the boys were like, yeah, let's go kill this thing. We were all jumping off the back of the ute trying to chase it down. And then Mr. Wood literally snapped its neck. And all us boys were just like, this is what it's like to be a man. Killing things with your bare hands.
That is crazy.
That was a pretty good experience. Yeah. But anyway, so we went there, we were on the farm, learned how to hunt a bit, eat the food that we caught. And then the second stage of the camp was up in Kuranda in Cairns. And they split the males and females. So it was just all the boys up in Kuranda, and we were there for 6 days. And Tim was the chaplain at the school at the time. So he got brought onto the camp. And I was in a tent with one of my best friends, Craig Caviagu, who I'm sure you know. Yeah, and he's probably going to watch this. I love you, Craig.
He's a legend. He's good.
Craig...
He ended up being a great friend of both of us, but he was in your grade.
Honestly, he's just great quality.
He's a legend.
So it was me, Craig, and Jordan Blythe. We were all sharing a tent. And it was like a big 10-man tent for the three of us. So it was like a palace. We had all our snacks and energy drinks. But every night...
We should probably not name anyone's full name who's going to be made out to look bad in a story. Not that they are. Oh, yeah. They're safe.
They're good. They're on my side.
But other people in the story...
Fair call. So every night, I'd go up to Tim and I'd say, Tim, you got to come down for your beating. Because basically it was just going to be us three boys and we're just going to beat him up. Yeah. Just to show that we're men, you know? Yeah. He's an adult and we're just like, we're going to take you on. We're going to beat you down. Yeah. And he obviously laughed and thought it was a good joke. And then I think it was the second night. I went up and I said to Tim, I said, all right, it's time to come down for your beating. And then I walked off, went back to the tent. I didn't think anything of it. And without me knowing, Tim literally grabbed all the boys in my class, besides the two boys in my tent, and said, all right, we're going to go get Matt and the other boys. Yeah. So probably 10 minutes later, the entire class is coming down and they're ready to brawl my tent. So we literally just went at it. And I almost drowned one of the kids because the fight got out of control. Yep. And yeah, it was very crazy. But Tim got beat down. And our tent, 3 of us, took on the entire grade and won.
Wow, man.
So it was a pretty good experience.
That's insane.
Yeah. And yeah, it was good. I do remember Tim also making a teacher cry
on that
camp, which was the funniest thing ever.
Some flipping good memories.
Yeah.
Next question.
All right. Okay, we're getting a bit deep now.
Ooh.
When did you start to feel confident in your manhood despite growing up without a father?
When did we start feeling confident in our manhood despite growing up without a father?
That's a big question.
That is a big question.
It's a tough one too, manhood.
I want to say, for me, it was probably 2017 or 18 when I gave my life to God.
Yep.
So when I became a Christian, and I put behind the life I had been living, took ownership of all the things that I'd done wrong. I owned up to a lot of things, told a lot of people, things like I've mentioned in the episode, stealing cameras, stealing all sorts of things, lying, doing drugs and lying about it to mum. And I owned up to everything and was honest about it all, and then gave my life to God. And I think it was that moment where I felt confident in my manhood, because I felt like that's what it meant to be a man.
Yeah.
Was to be honest and integrous and have character. And so I would say that's the moment for me.
Yeah, that's cool. For me, I think it might have been 2019. After all the drama went down with the police, my dad, and the relationship. Because reflecting later in that year how I was acting to people, I realised that that was just not good and not the way to handle things as a man. And I think that was a pivotal moment, because since that moment, like, relationship-wise and all that, like, I know what I want. Like, I'm not going to just settle because I want something. Because I've always felt like you're not enough, or like you're just always wanting someone. You know what I mean? But yeah, like after that, I just realized like it's okay. Like you can do your own thing and be fine. But yeah, I think that would be my moment. It's late 2019.
Beautiful.
All right. Number 8. What is your biggest fear about becoming a dad?
What is your biggest fear about becoming a dad? That's another really big question. What's my biggest fear about becoming a dad? I think probably one of the biggest fears I've got is that I've got no idea how to do it. Like
I feel that.
I got no idea how to be a dad, any type of dad. Really.
But the only insight that we'd really have is going from friends' dads.
Friends, dads, people we know, from different communities we're involved with. But I would say that's my biggest fear, is that I don't know how to be a dad in general. I get excited about becoming a dad.
Yeah.
And I do want to become a dad. But I also just kind of don't know what the heck to do when I become a dad and how that's going to look. But I do know that I do have some really great people in my life who can help me through that. And I'm definitely not that scared that I'm not going to go through with it and become a dad. I am going to become a dad.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're definitely a lot closer than I am.
Well, if you became a dad right now, I'd be concerned.
So would I.
I'm looking forward to it, but yeah, I think just kind of that I have no idea.
Yeah. I'd say I'm in a similar boat. Obviously, we didn't have a dad growing up, so like the only thing I can reference is like movies. Like when you see a dad being a dad in a movie. But usually it's always like you're not seeing the whole picture, you're just seeing a little tiny piece of what it's like. And then you don't even know if it's real, because you hear all sorts of stories from different kids. So you just don't know. But I do want to have kids, and I hope that they are better than me. That's the only thing I can hope for.
What do you mean by better than you?
Well, I hope I can guide them in the right direction to not make the same mistakes that I did growing up. Or, yeah, just not have to go through as much as what I had to go through.
Yeah.
I suppose. I don't really know.
But don't you think that what you went through was kind of necessary in your development?
I definitely needed it. But I don't want to put that on another kid. Especially my kid. When I can be there and be present.
Yeah, totally.
It's just weird because I don't know what it is.
Last
Alrighty,
question. What is your best piece of advice you would give to a young boy struggling with fatherlessness?
Man, 3 big questions to finish us out. What's the best advice?
Yeah, your best piece of advice.
My best piece of advice? This is me personally. Nothing in life lasts. The good times and the bad times. Nothing. And so when you ask me today, how can I be so easygoing, is because I believe that with all my heart. Nothing ever lasts. So for me, it's sobering in the good times because I don't let myself get too caught up. But then it's also hopeful in the bad times because I know it's going to pass. There's this old saying, this too shall pass.
Yeah.
Everything ends. Everything. The only time that something is going to last is in eternal life, I believe, as a Christian, being with Jesus in heaven. That's the only thing that's going to last. So until then, good times don't last, bad times don't last. My best piece of advice is just keep on sticking it through.
That's good advice. Very good advice. I think my piece of advice would be to find some good role models and not give up. Because it's like I don't know what the saying is, but it's something to do with diamonds and pressure.
Yeah, pressure creates diamonds.
Yes, and you need that pressure. Like in my life, I know going through everything that I've gone through, if I didn't have that pressure, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I wouldn't think the way I think today.
Well, I don't know if I had pressure, but I definitely had depression.
Yes.
Sorry.
No, that's good. It's a good one. It's a good
terrible
one.
dad joke. Keep going.
Well, we've both been there. But yeah, I'd say finding the good role model and not giving up is probably the main part, because it's just like you said. But I'm kind of on the opposite. When I'm having the highs, I'm fully into it and I'm like, life is just the best. But then 5 minutes later, it can just go downhill and then you're in this depression mode and you're like, everything in life sucks. And you think it's never going to go away. The feeling's just never going to go away. But then you have a little nap and then you wake up feeling better. So it's literally just pushing through and consciously thinking, hey, this isn't going to last forever. You just got to push through or have a nap. Always helps.
Naps do.
They do.
Naps and food.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how many things can be solved with naps and food.
I do agree.
Especially, so like getting hangry, man, is a big deal.
Oh, you know, I definitely get hangry.
You get hangry as flippin' heck.
And the worst part is, like, I'm not a big eater all the time. So I don't really know when I'm hangry. And then I'll usually have like a little bit of food and then I just feel instantly better. Like I remember I called you like 3 weeks ago when I was doing a photo shoot.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I just got some food. But before that, I called you and I was stressed as.
Yeah.
And then I went and got a pie and then I was like, oh, I'm good. Hey, bro.
Yeah. You were stressing and then you were chilling.
Yeah.
No, I think that's great advice. I think you do need role models to look up to.
Definitely.
Because you need to know where you can be. And oftentimes life can be tough. And if you're only ever looking at yourself in your situation, it's very easy to get caught in a depressive cycle. But if you have something to look up towards, you know what you can become.
Definitely.
But I think that's pretty awesome. Thanks for jumping on today's episode.
It's all good.
Thanks for filling in for Ephrat.
It's all good. Hopefully he's back.
Hopefully he comes back from wherever he is.
We'll have to get him a working visa.
We have to figure it out. We have to do something. We could get him a green card if you want to marry him.
I don't swing that way, but
okay, well,
we might find someone else.
Yeah. He does have a girlfriend, so maybe.
That's true. That's true.
Maybe we start there.
Yeah, that's a good place to start.
Let's start there. Let's get the man a green card so he can be in every single episode. Ephrat, if you're watching this, I didn't have as much fun with Matt. I still love you. You're still involved. Yeah, whatever. No, just joking. But it's been awesome to have you. Thank you, producer Sass, for coming up with these questions. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Make sure you join the hashtag #NoDadGang community. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on YouTube and Spotify. Stay connected with everything we're doing. This is only the beginning.
Yes.
It's on the up and up. We're going to start an army of people with no dads. And then it's going to extend to people with no moms. And then we're going to take over the world. And I'm going to be the Kim Jong-un of the No Dad Gang.
Are you going to have nuclear weapons?
Yes.
Or yeah, okay, I'm in.
And it's going to have,
I'm in.
It's going to have pictures of our dads on them.
On the nukes?
Yeah.
Because why?
Just
what's the reference to that?
I don't know. It's an original concept.
Oh, radiation, toxic They did one. They went there. Stay away.
We're going to leave it at that. But we'll see you in the next episode. We love you. See you then.